Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Alpha Podcast, a show where we talk about the latest, hottest topics in the world of pop culture and sports. I am your host, Jayden, and again, thank you for joining us. We got an action-packed show ready for you guys. It is going to be our second episode of this, shooting this live with you guys, and I have to be honest, I am very much enjoying the format. Let me know down in the comments below and continue to let me know how you are enjoying the format as well. I got a couple topics lined up for you guys, majority sports related. We are going to be talking about our lovely man, Shedeur Sanders, recently getting in the news for speeding tickets. He got one recently, but he's had two in the month of June. We are then going to talk about the Batman and some things and drama going on related to James Gunn and the script and Matt Reeves, and we're just going to go get into that. There are reports right now that Daniel Jones is considered to be the quarterback one over the Indianapolis Colts' recent draft pick, Anthony Richards, and I'm going to sound off on that one. And the very last topic we were going to talk about today is Aaron Rodgers going on the Pat Mcafee Show and basically saying that this upcoming season is more than likely going to be his last. I thank you guys for joining me. Please continue to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on the podcast to let the YouTube algorithm know that you are enjoying the podcast, and make sure you follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and my socials down below in the description, and check out my other videos in the description as well. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, we know everything that went on regarding Shedeur Sanders when it comes to the draft, him falling in the draft and everything else. But he has been lighting it up in the Cleveland Browns training camp and mini camp. Well, not training camp, but mini camp over the last couple of weeks. He's been in the QB competition because right now they're saying Joe Flacco's number 1, Kenny Pickett's number 2, and then you got Dillon Gabriel 3 and 4. He's pretty much duking it out with Dillon Gabriel to get the QB3 spot. But a lot of beat writers for the Cleveland Browns are kind of saying that, hey, there is a possibility that Shedeur Sanders could possibly be the quarterback 1 in the upcoming season. But what he was in the news for recently is just more fuel to the fire for the anti-Shedeur Sanders crowd and fan base. We're going to get to the article here written by the Cleveland News 5, and it gives us a description of what happened. Shedeur, and as the headline says, Browns QB Shedeur Sanders was caught speeding in Strongsville a day after his summons for another speed ticket. Again, Shedeur Sanders was cited for 2 separate speeding tickets in the month of June alone. In an earlier incident, state troopers caught him doing 91 in a 65. The article then goes on to say, earlier this week we learned about Browns Shedeur Sanders speeding 41 miles per hour over the limit in Interstate 71, according to a ticket written by Ohio State Highway State Patrol. On June 5th at around 5:13 p.m., Sanders was clocked going 91 in a 65 on I-71 southbound, driving in a Dodge Ram pickup truck. There's not much anywhere. So basically, he went 91 in a 65, and then I think he went 100. I think he went 91 in a 65, and I think I saw another one where it said he went like 100. It was 101 in a 65, I think. So Shedeur Sanders, as I stated before, got cited 2 speed ticket citations. I don't understand why he was going 90 miles per hour in a pickup truck. When I originally saw this article, I was sitting there like, okay, I didn't want to rain down on him that much because us teenagers, I know Shedeur is probably 23. With all that money he's got, you get you a nice sports car. You're going to get on the highway and go crazy. I know me personally. If I had a Lamborghini or any type of exotic sports car, I'm definitely more than likely going to punch it to 90-100 one time, and I'm bound to do it, and there is a high chance that I would get stopped by the state trooper. But this is why this is not a good look for Shedeur. It is because of the overstimulation of things that has been going on surrounding his name. Let's backtrack just a minute. Shedeur Sanders. This started at the combine. It even started before the combine. His father going around telling everybody he's the best QB in the draft. He is going to be drafted first ahead of everybody else. The Mel Kipers of the world, a lot of people who cover the draft, has Shedeur Sanders as the number 1 QB, and we all know the story of him sliding in the draft to the 5th round and the 144th overall pick. On top of that stuff with his father and things of that nature, he had the combine interviews, and we know all the drama around the executives in the NFL and people who got a behind-the-scenes look of what happened in that situation. Shedeur Sanders came off brash, a Mr. Know-It-All, and acted like he's already the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And that led to his slide as well. Then he gets drafted. He has this nice little, in the first round, he had this little box suite with the legendary thing on it. I had it in my recent show if you want to go check it out a couple months ago when I did cover the draft. And then you had the stuff going on with the prank calls. And then you go into training camp and he's the talk of the town ahead of Dylan Gabriel and everybody else. And the list goes on and on and on. Deion Sanders came out about a month ago talking about how he was very disappointed about how everything went on about the draft and how he felt like his son should have been the number 1 overall pick. I mean, the list goes on and on with these things. And then we get to training camp, mini camp, rookie mini camp, and then OTAs. And Shedeur's been getting a lot of positive press. And a lot of people, I know I've seen a lot of clips from Cleveland radio, who's covering the Browns, and a lot of Browns beat writers has been going on the show saying, hey, Shedeur Sanders looks pretty doggone good. But Shedeur Sanders is not helping his case with this. It shows the immature. It just is throwing fuel into the fire of the immaturity that a lot of people has associated with his name and the reason why nobody wanted to draft him to begin with. To the point to where there were reports that owners looked at their GMs of their teams and their draft team, and they explicitly said, do not draft him. I'm pretty sure all you guys saw the clip when Kevin Stefanski and the Browns and the GM of the Browns, I don't even know the guy's name from the top of my head, but when they showed the camera of them making the selection of Shedeur, they looked like they did not want to make that pick. They were not excited whatsoever. Literally. I made a funny analogy to it, but I'm not going to get that deep into it. But I made this analogy. Think of if you're a sports fan, and I have this from experience. I was forced to go somewhere with a significant other that I didn't want to be. And it was a ballet. And then I wanted to be somewhere else at a sports game or something. And then I'm just sitting here when everybody else is clapping. I'm just sitting here doing this too. Like, it's one of them fake claps like you could care less to be there. That is what the Browns did when they drafted Shedeur Sanders. So it's not a good look for Shedeur Sanders to get caught twice, not once, but twice, getting a speeding ticket. And it obviously getting out into the public. And recently, as of yesterday or 2 days ago, his brother, Shiloh, went in front of the press and was like mocking or pretty much just bashing Shedeur about it, talking about he was walking across the street or something. He's like, I hope Shedeur ain't driving on the street with me. It's something stupid, something crazy. Something else we need to know. I know Shedeur knows better. Rookie mistakes. He's young. I know Dion, as soon as this news came out, has had a one-on-one conversation with him, because we know he has the best person to lean on when it comes to understanding how to control the fame and notoriety. Deion Sanders, primetime. He got the nickname primetime for a reason. It is his son. He played for him for years. He is fixing to get ready to branch off away from his father and get into his NFL journey. So I'm sure Deion has talked to him about this. Something that is very important to take away from this, though. I know a lot of people are not going to go take it this far, but I am going to take it this far. Having this fame and notoriety and these speeding tickets and speeding in general has killed the careers of a couple of athletes the past 5 years. What happened to Henry Ruggs? Granted, he was driving under the influence, if I'm not mistaken, but still. Play stupid games, you get stupid surprises. Henry Ruggs, never thought that was going to happen. Driving that fast. And then he committed a fatality. And guess what? He is in jail and he is no longer playing in the NFL. What about recently about Jalen Carter? It's got brushed off. But when he was getting ready to get drafted, he inevitably fell in the draft because of what happened. Hopefully he's got past it. But still, it is something that we cannot take lightly, because anything can happen on that highway driving that fast. You can lose control of the vehicle. You could get in a crash, and then inevitably you could cause death at any point. That's the part about getting Shedeur down, letting Shedeur learn his lesson, and understand that what can go wrong will go wrong when you put yourself in bad situations. You just don't want to put yourself in that situation. And like I said, I know when you get in that vehicle, I would do the same thing. Granted, he did it in a Dodge Ram pickup truck, which is nowhere near the same as a sports car, but still. I know what it feels like to have money like that and possibly have a nice sports car. I could see myself now with a Lamborghini or McLaren or Pagani. The first idea that I would get running on I-95 right now. I-95 is 65 miles per hour. I promise you, there is a high chance I would be trying to bust at 100. Or I would probably even try to race one of my buddies. I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. I know I would probably do it too. But we got to sit and pause and reflect on where we're at in life in Shedeur Sanders, in our position that we are in. We have a promising NFL career, a promising NFL future. We don't want to jeopardize that for fun and games here and there. We saw the incident, I can't remember, with Lamar Jackson a couple of years ago when he was on a jet ski and he got injured. It could have been really bad. Nyheim Hines, the guy who played for the Colts, who's had all them great punt returns, and I think he played for the Bills as well. He got in a bad accident on a jet ski. Things happen. We got to be able to understand, put aside that stuff later on in life. But right now we got to focus on football and making it and paving our way into the NFL. So Shedeur Sanders, let's not kill him. Let's give him saving grace. I know the Colin Cowherds of the world went on TV and just said, all right, I'm done. I'm definitely not that person. I'm not going to do that. And I'm definitely not going to start it today. Let's give Shedeur some saving grace. Let him learn from it. And hopefully he can put this behind him so he can get himself out of the media, out of bad press, and be able to ball. And hopefully be in contention for the QB1 spot for the Cleveland Browns. What do you guys think of my comments? Do you agree with me? What do you think about Shedeur Sanders speeding? Do you think it's bad press? Do you think it jeopardizes his spot at the QB1 position? I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys. Let's move on to the next topic. We are going to talk about the Batman 2. The first Batman being coming out in 2022, and a lot of things has been going on with the Batman 2, with James Gunn and Peter Safran taking over DC Studios. A lot of fans are suggesting that Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be part of the DCU. James Gunn has been debunking these claims for a while now. And I can say that I am a part of that train. I don't think he is going to be part of the DCU. But in a recent article about a week ago, James Gunn pretty much confirmed that the Batman 2 is still happening. When a lot of fans were kind of getting this idea that it was probably in jeopardy. Because there's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with Matt Reeves of really conflicting reports about DC being... Matt Reeves is taking his time and DC's being a little impatient with the script. Matt Reeves has some health issues going on. It's been 3 years since the last movie, and they pretty much greenlit the Batman Part 2. It was originally called the Batman Part 2. I mean, they greenlit the movie in a span of months after the film was released. But recently, Andy Serkis pretty much, in a recent interview that was posted on Twitter, pretty much confirmed that the Batman 2's script is almost done. And in quotations here, it says, Matt Reeves is a formidable and wonderful filmmaker. But as the comment down below, it suggests that it wasn't all great news. So, and there was other reports earlier in the week that said, and it was by someone in media, that the Batman 2's script was supposed to be turned in Monday, as of this Monday, June 23rd. And then obviously on Threads, James Gunn goes on to say that is not true at all. Because like I just said a week ago, James Gunn had an interview and was like, the Batman 2 is still happening. You know, Matt Reeves is writing the script. He pretty much said it, and I'm saying it, and I'm paraphrasing this, but this is pretty much what he was saying. Matt Reeves is slow as crap, and we should just leave him alone and just take his time because he is a brilliant writer and filmmaker. But in this article, and it's pretty much short and sweet, James Gunn says the Batman 2 script hasn't been handed in. A fan asked Gunn if the report was accurate about the script being turned in by Monday. And he concisely replied, it's not true. He didn't address anything else in the Puck report. For example, it claimed that production is set to begin in January 2026, after Pattinson finishes his work on Dune 3. While the report noted rumors about DC moving on from Reeves due to him being a notoriously slow filmmaker, Gunn has constantly supported the director on social media and in other videos, as I just stated pretty much a while ago. As far as just the DCU thing, I don't think Robert Pattinson is going to be in the DCU. He's not going to be DCU's Batman. Every time in an interview that James Gunn has, James Gunn pretty much turns his nose up at that notion of Batman being part of the DCU. So that's not happening. James Gunn said that he is going to do Elseworld stories. Clayface being one of them. I don't know if I'm talking to you guys right now. I don't even remember. Was Clayface supposed to be a Elseworld story, or is it part of the DCU? I don't even know. Y'all guys let me know down below in the comments. I cannot quite remember that. But anyways, moving on. He wants to be able to establish the Elseworld stories. And I know he wants, as I stated in the last podcast, he wants a pretty fresh and different take from Batman that Robert Pattinson's Batman doesn't fit that mold. For what James Gunn is going for, he doesn't fit that, which I 100% agreed. And I go check out Alpha 23, the Alpha Podcast 23, where I went into more detail about that. We're not going to harp on that. So I don't think in the end he's going to be part of DCU. I think he is going to be part of the Elseworld story because the Batman 1 was great. A lot of people even considered it better than The Dark Knight. I am not one of those people. So I do think that it still needs to exist, but just as an Elseworld story, because there's nothing wrong with having Elseworld stories. Because there's some villains, and I'm going to get to that in the next part, that I would like to see on the big screen and done well, really well. And this is where I'm a category of this part as the villains. What villains would I like to see in the Batman 2? The number one name that people threw around in the beginning when the Batman news came out, and that is Mr. Victor Freeze. He has not been done. I went back and looked at all the villains. Joker's been done many a times. We've had Bane done twice. We just had the Riddler done. Riddler's been portrayed twice on live action. Two-Face has been done twice. Penguin's been done multiple times as well. The only one from the villain gallery that is pretty famous in the Batman villain gallery and villain lore was Mr. Freeze. We all know Mr. Arnold. I'm not going to say his last name because I don't want to screw it up. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was Mr. Freeze in the Batman vs. Robin movie. It is in a lot of people's eyes not a good Batman movie, and I'm one of those people. So Mr. Freeze is somebody that I would like to be done in live action, and I think the way Matt Reeves wrote the Riddler and made the Riddler a pretty great villain, by the way, I think he could do well. I think he could make it a great Mr. Freeze. So that is somebody I would like to throw out as well. Someone else that has not been done at all in live action, Killer Croc. Killer Croc is somebody that is used a lot in animated shows. He's been portrayed in the video game as well. And he has not been touched at all in any type of live action movie. Batman movie at all. I like Croc. He is a Bane type figure. Given the way the horror aspect that Matt Reeves did with the Batman movie, if he could do that with Killer Croc with some sewer type stuff, to where he's in the water and with some jump scares and things, I think Killer Croc would be a great villain to fit Matt Reeves' Batman universe, that dark, gritty universe. And I just think Killer Croc fits that mold. And my final character, and I know he's been done a couple of times now, and he's already in the universe. I would love to see the Penguin get more action. I have not seen the TV show. A lot of people loved it. So I really do think you should. It's a no-brainer move to possibly just expand on the Penguin. Because in the first movie, he was he was a villain, but he wasn't in the limelight. He was kind of like a side villain, and he kind of helped Batman out. He was kind of like, I wouldn't even classify, let's not say that. He wasn't an anti-hero, but he was pretty much Two-Face in The Dark Knight. To where he was a villain, but he had like a little small plot in the movie. He wasn't the main hitter like the Joker was in The Dark Knight. That was the Penguin. So I think, and if you make a sequel, put Penguin as the villain. Or, as I'm in favor for, Make Mr. Freeze or somebody the main villain and keep the Penguin. Keep him and make him a side story. I'm fine with that as well. But either way, I think Matt Reeves is going to do a good job with whatever villain he tries to get. Something I would like to see in the upcoming film as well. How will Bruce Wayne evolve in the Batman? And the Batman portion of him, because I have said in the recent podcast, I don't care for the Bruce Wayne. He has no personality, no charisma whatsoever. I want to see how that evolves in the next movie. Or is he going to keep that aspect of it? Is he going to be have a more presence in Wayne Enterprises with his business and things of that nature? Is he going to interact with Alfred more, since they had that little heart-to-heart scene in the first movie? And as far as Batman, he had his little ending monologue at the end of the film where he kind of like realizes his place as a hero. So, does this dark, broody aspect of him, does that take a step back just a little bit? That's something I'm looking forward to, and looking forward to see how he evolves the Batman and Bruce Wayne character in the upcoming movies when it comes to the script. And the final aspect of it too, Matt Reeves he deserves his patience, guys. He deserves his patience. Matt Reeves has done a good job outside of the Cape Crusader. Was not my favorite type of Batman content. It had a lot to be desired. But the Batman was great. Matt Reeves understood Batman. When it comes to the action, the detective work, Gotham City, and just the type of tone it had, and the setting, and the way the cinematography, it just screamed Batman. So Matt Reeves is the guy for the job. And if the reports are true that he's having health issues, we shouldn't kill him for that. And I think they're pretty much taking their time, because Matt Reeves and James Gunn knows that Robert Pattinson's Batman is not part of the DCU. So you want to just take your time. There's no rush. And I know that what's another thing that I just thought about now is that as I am talking, James Gunn and Matt Reeves might be on the phone back and forth trying to figure out how to differentiate the DCU Batman from Robert Pattinson to not get audiences confused. That is something to think about as well. So, from what Andy Serkis said, if the script is possibly done, it might be. This is coming from Andy Serkis himself. I mean, he is going to be in the Batman 2, and he is a director and filmmaker himself. So I know that if this is coming from the mouth of Andy Serkis, that the film script is almost done. I'm pretty sure it's a done deal. I think Matt Reeves pretty much is almost knowing what he wants. I mean, we've had so much the Batman 2 stuff going on when it comes to just the script and everything else. Just so many conflicting reports. And it was very... What's the word I would like to say? It's kind of relieving to pretty much know that Andy Serkis, from his mouth, someone who has made films, he's a director, he's an actor, he's a voice actor. Every time he's had his foot in every piece or type of Hollywood. He said it himself that the script is almost done. So it's going to have to leave that as it may. And then, like I said, I talked about what type of villains I'd want to see. Robert Pattinson not being in the DCU. I want to know how the character will evolve. And that ultimately Matt Reeves deserves his patience, because I think he is going to deliver another banger. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think, who do you like about the villain gallery that I pointed out in my topic? What would you like to see from the Batman 2 as far as Bruce Wayne evolving and things of that nature? Do you think, the big question, of course, do you think Robert Pattinson's Batman would join the DCU? I don't, and I don't know why this keeps being a focal point in a lot of interviews with James Gunn. And do you think Matt Reeves deserves his patience? I want to know all of your comments down below. Moving on to back into sports, our last two topics are going to be sports related. I've never loved Anthony, I can't say that. I loved Anthony Richardson coming out of college. Okay, I can't lie, I did. The highlight reel, the athleticism. I mean, just the videos coming out when he was coming in the draft of him playing basketball and him just dunking the basketball. His college tape at Florida with all the runs and stuff, the arm and the combine. It was hard to not get bamboozled and hoodwinked by the stuff that Anthony Richardson was doing coming out of the draft. But ladies and gentlemen, we all can realize that it has not worked out in Indianapolis. And there has been reports. There is reports right now that Daniel Jones Daniel Jones was acquired in the offseason. We all know last year Daniel Jones was released by the Giants. He got picked up. I don't even think, did he go on waivers or not? Or was he a free agent? I can't even remember. He was claimed by waivers. But he was claimed by waivers or signed as a free agent by the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings didn't keep him. They let him be a free agent, and he signed with the Colts in the offseason. And he is already, in a lot of people's eyes, considered to be in the lead right now for the QB1 role. And it is absolutely insanity to me. And I'm going to get on, like I said, I'm going to rant about it, and we're going to get to it in a minute. But let me read the article. From Bleacher Report, the headline is, Daniel Jones reportedly has significant lead over Anthony Richardson for the Colts QB1 job. Daniel Jones could be under center for the Indianapolis Colts in the 2025 NFL season. James Boyd of The Athletic reported that the former Giants quarterback has built a significant lead over the third-year quarterback Anthony Richardson after the team's spring workouts. And I quote, Daniel Jones is QB1 for now. The Colts signed ex-Giants Vikings quarterback in free agency to challenge Anthony Richardson for the QB1 title in Indy. And Jones has already taken a significant lead in what was supposed to be a wide-open quarterback competition. Richardson aggravated a shoulder injury last month, with Boyd reporting that this positions Jones to take over as the Week 1 starter. However, Richardson did tell 24/7 Sports' Zach Goodell that he's ready for training camp. Y'all, I'm going to be honest with you. The Anthony Richardson stuff, just Anthony Richardson as a player has been just super disappointing. You fire your head coach your first year. That Anthony Richardson was there. Hold on, let's see. Was Anthony Richardson, I got to look this up. Who was the head coach for the Colts when Anthony Richardson's first year? Because Shane Steichen, wasn't this Shane Steichen's first year last year? I really got to look this up. Because I want to make sure so I don't... Yeah, I think Shane Steichen was there the past 2 years. Yeah, so Shane Steichen has been there the last 2 years. Okay, so Shane Steichen has been there. Yes, that is right, because Shane Steichen, he got hired a year after they lost the Super Bowl. That is right. So Shane Steichen has been there the 2 full years that Anthony Richardson has been there. Okay, so scratch that. Let's start from the beginning. You draft Anthony Richardson because of Anthony Richardson's play style. Shane Steichen, he was the OC for the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. He invented the tush push. That year, Jalen Hurts was a mobile quarterback. So a lot of people were thinking going into the draft with the good QBs that was in that draft class. Well, no, not good QBs. Good QBs wasn't in that draft class. But everybody thought that with that pick, the Colts could turn Anthony Richardson into Jalen Hurts 2.0. But ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest with you. Anthony Richardson is a bust. Let's just call it what it is. The guy has some of the worst accuracy. Guys, there's one thing that you cannot teach a quarterback in the NFL and in this league. You cannot teach accuracy. If they don't have it by the time they get into the NFL, They're never going to get it. Go ask Tim Tebow if he ever got it. There is always this question mark when you get a quarterback who is run-centric in college. Even with Jalen Hurts, Nick Saban was on the record saying that in his stint at Alabama, the number one thing that he wanted to work on for Jalen Hurts was his ability to throw the football. Why did Jalen Hurts transfer his last year to Oklahoma? And then he took them to the college football playoff. It was to be able to join Lincoln Riley, the offensive guru and quarterback guru that he has. The dude doesn't do nothing but produce quarterbacks. And he was able to evolve his game to where his ability to pass the football and run the football. And it has translated to the NFL. So to the point to where he's a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP. He has a very accurate deep ball. Even though he's still not the greatest thrower of the football by any compared to the Matt Staffords and Joe Burrow accuracy wise, but still, he's a good enough player to get the job done. And a lot of people thought Anthony Richardson was going to be that. But guys, this is Anthony Richardson's stats the past 2 seasons. He has played 15 games in 2 seasons. So right now he has not played a full season. He has 176 completions in 348 attempts. 50.6% of his passes was completed. He's only thrown for 2,300 yards. He averages just under 7 yards a pass. He has thrown 11 touchdowns, and he has thrown 13 interceptions. He has a quarterback rating of 67.8. And guys, that's just his career numbers. Let's talk about his numbers just this last season. He had a completion percentage of 47.7%. He threw for 1,800 yards. He had 8 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Ladies and gentlemen, the touchdowns counts for rushing touchdowns as well. I would love, even though I don't have the information right now, I would love to know how many of those 8 touchdowns last year were runs. I promise you it was either 6 or 7 of them. I had Josh Downs in fantasy. He didn't get a lot of touchdowns. Anthony Richardson cannot throw the football. Daniel Jones being in the consideration for QB1 is an indictment of Anthony Richardson. Ladies and gentlemen, did you not know that the Vikings needed a quarterback? Sam Darnold left. They've got a lot of questions right now regarding J.J. McCarthy. They could have kept Daniel Jones just for competition as a backup plan. And guess what? The Vikings said, bye-bye. I don't know if they made him an offer or not. Maybe the Colts gave him more money. I don't know. But don't you think it's an indictment for the Vikings, who is led by Kevin O'Connell, great coach, just great everything over there in Minnesota, great culture and everything. Just they are just, what's the word I'm looking for? They are a very classy organization, somewhere where you want to be, and someone you want to play for, with a lot of upside. And they said bye to Daniel Jones. There was no urgency to bring him back. And then he goes to Indianapolis, and he's currently beating out Anthony Richardson for the QB1 job. This is your first round draft pick. This is the guy you hired Shane Steichen for. The reason why you hired Shane Steichen, because of his background with Jalen Hurts and developing a running play style quarterback. And he's had a shoulder surgery already. I don't know if it's on his throwing shoulder. I want to say it's on his throwing shoulder. The concussions that's happened with Anthony Richardson already. The injuries. The crap that went on last season with him tapping out in the middle of the game, and he got absolutely murdered for it by the media. I never talked about it, but I knew I wouldn't forget it. Right now, he is slacking in Anthony Richardson is slacking in all departments. He doesn't have he doesn't have the talent. Well, he has the talent. But that talent doesn't have substance. The things that you need to do as an NFL quarterback, he does bad at all of them. He can't throw an accurate football. He is not good at the podium. He doesn't have any leadership. He doesn't look like a guy you want to lead your franchise. And this is coming from a world-class organization of quarterbacks. They had Peyton Manning. They had Andrew Luck. They have been in quarterback. The Colts have literally been in quarterback HELL hockey sticks ever since Andrew Luck left. They went through Phillip Rivers. They went through Carson Wentz. They went through Joe Flacco, Sam Ehlinger. I mean, who else am I missing? The list goes on and on and on. The Colts cannot find a quarterback. And it seems like they spent, I cannot remember what it was. Yeah, he was the fourth pick. I knew he was the third or the fourth pick. So you spent your fourth pick on a guy who is not going to be your future quarterback. He's not. He is not your future. He is not your franchise guy. If your fourth overall pick, and I know Daniel Jones was a high draft pick, first round pick as well, but everybody knows when Daniel Jones was drafted, he should have never got drafted where he was at. Daniel Jones went to Duke. And I am a Duke fan, I can say this, even though I'm not a Duke football fan, I'm a Duke basketball fan, but still, we all know Duke is low-tier football. It's the ACC. They're not known for football. They don't play any powerhouse teams. It's nowhere like the Big 10, Big 12. Well, not really Big 12, because the Big 12 was good back then. The Big 10, Big 12, and SEC. It's not even on the same stratosphere. Everybody knows that Daniel Jones did not deserve to be drafted where he was drafted. But Eli Manning and Peyton Manning and everybody else just looked at the guy and told the Giants, hey, this is your guy. I mean, hey, he's the future. But we see how that's turned out. They decided to pay him instead of paying Saquon Barkley. And guess what? One guy left the Giants and he's a Super Bowl champion. The other guy can't even get a job. But he's got a job now because the other guy sucked so bad. You're the fourth overall pick, and you can't beat out Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. Danny Pennies is my nickname for him. He is Danny Pennies. He's not good. We all got hoodwinked, and we all got bamboozled, and we all got fooled when we saw Daniel Jones play relatively well in that playoff game for the Giants a couple of years ago. But that's his ceiling. And we all know Daniel Jones can't do that consistently. Anthony Richardson is pretty much a Cam Newton wannabe. It's hard not to like him. He has the arm strength. He has the athleticism. But he's not got the substance. We loved Cam Newton because guess what? He was a baller. He was an MVP winner. He took a team like the Carolina Panthers, a small organization, small market team, took them to the Super Bowl. Granted, he's not known for having the best Super Bowl of all time, but gosh dog, at least he got us there. The city of North Carolina. Anthony Richardson is failing right now. And I don't see a situation at all to where he's going to improve. He got benched last year. His accuracy is worse than Tim Tebow. He can't even, there's been reports, and it's been going on for a while now. Anthony Richardson can't even do the small stuff right. He can't even hit a simple hitch route, small intermediate routes. Those are your money makers. He can't even hit those on a consistent basis. You cannot play in this league at a high level or even at a decent level if you cannot accurately and consistently throw the football. And Anthony Richardson can't do it. This report got me so mad because Anthony Richardson has a lot of talent. And I say this as somebody who I've been one of those who's been fooled into thinking this guy was going to be good. Because I said in the beginning of my take, I saw the combine videos. I saw the college tape. I saw all the social media videos. What is it? I've heard this term before. I don't know who came up with it. Anthony Richardson is the definition of a social media quarterback. And that's what his career is going to. He could be a backup. He could definitely be somebody like Justin Fields was for Pittsburgh. Bring him in on running situations. Because Anthony Richardson is an athletic freak, okay? He can find a place on an NFL roster for years to come. Let's not get it twisted. But it may have to be in another position because it's not going to be at the quarterback position unless something drastic happens to where he just all of a sudden just flips the switch when it comes to his accuracy. But I don't see that happening. But I digress. What do you guys think of this news? Do you think that Anthony Richardson should be starting over Daniel Jones? Do you think Daniel Jones should be starting over Anthony Richardson? Do you expect Daniel Jones to be the week 1 starter? I think I do. I can really sit here and contest and say right now, I think Anthony Richardson is going to be on the bench week 1. We're just going to have to wait and see. I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys, let's get to the last topic of today. Discount double check himself, Aaron Rodgers. He pretty much went on the Pat Mcafee Show yesterday for the first time since he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. Well, first time as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And he pretty much announced that this is it. This is the last hurrah. In an article written by Yahoo Sports, which is going to pretty much get a good description of what's going on here. Steelers fans may be in for a treat as 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers is set to appear on tomorrow's episode of Pat McAfee. On Monday, McAfee announced, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I don't even think they went into detail about it. Okay, but anyways. Aaron Rodgers pretty much said, and I quote, that this was pretty much it. I want to get the exact quote right here for you guys so you guys can see it. Alrighty here. He said, and I quote, he's pretty sure this is it. This is why he signed a 1-year deal in Pittsburgh. All right. What do I think of this? I'm not shocked. First of all, I'm not shocked that, let's just say this. This is going to be Aaron Rodgers' final team. If this is his last season, or if he's going to have a multiple season, this is going to be his final team. Aaron Rodgers is old. He is in father. He is the epiphany of father time right now. Okay. Rodgers age right now. Rodgers is 41. Next season he will be 42 years old. He has not played nowhere near as good as Tom Brady has when he was this age, and Tom Brady was able to do it till he was 45. So I don't see a scenario where Aaron Rodgers is going to play another 3 years. But this is ultimately going to be his last team. But if I am Aaron Rodgers, okay, this season, if you win a playoff game, I would at least consider coming back. Because there's one thing in Aaron Rodgers' career that a lot of people consider him missing. Although Aaron Rodgers, he is a Hall of Fame quarterback, okay? He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Right now, he's considered a top 10, top 5 quarterback to ever play the game, wherever you want to put him. But there's one thing a lot of people have said about Aaron Rodgers that he has done in his career. He is technically underachieved. He has underachieved because he was only able to do what? He was only able to get one Super Bowl. He has not been to the Super Bowl ever since. He only has one appearance. He's had a lot of NFC Championship game appearances. Definitely since 2023. From 2023 to like 19 or 18, he had like 2 or 3 NFC Championship appearances, and he was favored I think his team was favored every single NFC Championship game appearance, and they never got the job done. It was a choke job. I remember 2 of the games now. The game against the Niners and the game against the Bucks and Tom Brady. Should have won those. And I think there was one more. I just do not know off the top of my head. But he has underachieved in the aspect in that he has not been to a Super Bowl again. To be fair, to add to his legacy, the Pittsburgh Steelers has not done nothing since Ben Roethlisberger. They haven't been to a Super Bowl since 2008 or 2010. One of the two. They haven't won a playoff game in forever. So you are able to do something that Pittsburgh has not been able to do in a while. So I can say that I would consider probably coming back if you win a playoff game. Could you ever win the Super Bowl? That's just a wait and see thing. It has to depend on how well he plays this year, how well Pittsburgh plays, and if they can get into the playoffs and actually play a pretty decent playoff game. Because as I said that he's underachieved, you got a gauntlet in the AFC to get to a Super Bowl. We said this when he was with the Jets. Patrick Mahomes isn't going nowhere. Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. Joe Burrow isn't going anywhere. He's in your own division. Who else am I missing? Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. If Justin Herbert and the Chargers get their act right together, they're not going anywhere. Bo Nixon and Sean Payton, what they looked like last year, who knows what they could do. You're in a stacked AFC. So the likelihood of you able to do anything and get to a Super Bowl as a Pittsburgh Steelers is very slim. But I really do think that if they're able to win a playoff game this upcoming season, I would consider just trying to come back. That's if you love the game that much and you want to reach the ultimate goal of possibly winning another Super Bowl. And age is most likely the reason why this will be his last and why he signed a 1-year deal. Because he's old. And let's just be totally honest. Although he has underachieved in his career, outside of winning another Super Bowl, there's nothing else Aaron Rodgers has to do. If Aaron Rodgers even never stepped foot on a football field again as of today, if he didn't sign with the Steelers, he is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is his resume. He has 1 Super Bowl, 1 Super Bowl MVP, 4 regular season MVPs, 10 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pros, 1 second-team All-Pro. That is without a doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer resume. That is without a doubt a top 5-ish quarterback of all time. Because tell me right now, there's 2 quarterbacks in the media space that have been considered one of the most talented throwers of the football. Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. Name me your 5 quarterbacks. I'll name mine. And I won't even name 5. I just know my top 3. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana. Where do you go from there? You can arguably put Aaron Rodgers in the last 2 spots at 4 and 5. Dan Marino, Steve Young, Johnny Unitas, Troy Aikman. I'm just going off the top of my head of really great quarterbacks. You tell me you couldn't possibly put Aaron Rodgers there? Just saying. So if this is Aaron Rodgers' last season, he has nothing else to prove. Nothing. If he does win another Super Bowl, it only just adds to it, to where he's probably a definite number 4. But Aaron Rodgers he's an all-time great. The game is going to miss him when he's gone. As far as what I expect from him on the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to be exciting. I imagine a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans is excited because he's playing for a world-class organization, a very historic organization who has, in a lot of people's eyes, been underachieving the last couple of years. Hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. You get him paired up with Pat Freiermuth, DK Metcalf, improved offensive line. Maybe you should have kept Najee Harris. But the offense has potential, and when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're riding by the steel curtain. They're riding by TJ Watt and the guys. Now you got to re-sign TJ Watt because I think right now he's sitting out to try and get a contract extension. You're going to extend him and give him his money. But for right now, if I was Aaron Rodgers, I know that the curtain is calling. Okay? The sun is beginning to set on his career. But I really do think if the Pittsburgh Steelers look viable, and if they are able to come out of this season possibly winning a playoff game, why not give it another shot? If and this is a big if Aaron Rodgers is able to play pretty good, not like he has been in his MVP seasons. I'm just saying pretty good. I think he should possibly run it back because it may be a situation where the Steelers are able to sit there and look in the mirror and be like, man, we haven't had this type of quarterback play since Ben Roethlisberger. What if we actually spend some money in free agency? Although you have done that. You went out and got DK Metcalf. But what actually if we do beef up the O-line a little bit? Get him another target outside of DK Metcalf. Give him a running back. The defense is still always going to be good. Maybe we might have a solid chance at possibly making some noise in the playoffs. So if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I would consider it. But in the end, I would not totally be shocked if this final season is going to be his curtain call. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' final season? Do you think his legacy is cemented? Like I said, his legacy is cemented. Even if he was never able to set foot on a football field again. Do you think he's a top 5 quarterback? Do you think he's a top 10 quarterback? I want to know all of your comments down below. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the Alpha Podcast. I thank you guys for joining me for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please continue to be able to support me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube. Check out my YouTube videos as well. I want to be able to make this consistent for you guys. I'm enjoying the live format. It helps me be able to get my videos out on a time in a very timely manner. I want to be able to go live at least 3 times a week, majority on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, again, I want to keep it consistent so I can more than likely let you guys know when I go live, especially my subscribers. So everybody can tune in and be able to watch me with me and enjoy it. But I thank you so much, guys. We have reached the end of the Alpha Podcast. If you enjoyed, do not hesitate to hit the like button on the video and subscribe and share to your family and friends. Until I see you guys on the next episode, I love you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya.